Bonjour tout le monde, welcome to Weekday Wanderings in Paris. My name is Jacqui. I am here today. I'm starting my walk on the 12th, which was unanticipated, but here we are. I'm at Bibliotheque de Bercy. We've actually been here before. So let me just turn my camera around and you can see where we are. Parc de Bercy. So you can access this by either Bercy Metro, line 6, or the Course Million, line 14, which is in that direction there. So like I said, we were here last year on a hot day, similar to, well actually it was hotter last time we were here. There's a nice little esplanade along here. We're actually above railway lines here. But I wasn't intending to be here exactly. I was intending to be on the other side of this bridge. I've also been on this bridge before. This is the Passerelle Simone de Beauvoir. It's very rickety. It's actually a new bridge. It was built in 2006, but it has the air of being relatively old. This wood it's not very weatherproof, is it? So bonjour tout le monde, let me know where you are. Okay, so we're heading towards the 13th across the river along this bridge. It's a very interesting shaped bridge. Good morning, Brenda May. Well, it'll be afternoon for evening for you. Good. Hello there, Kim. Bonjour, Kim. Okay, so very busy road here. This is one of the main entrances, exits to Paris. We are still in Paris, so it's not the Bibliotheque. Bonjour Terry, hi, how are you? Bonjour Judy. Okay, so we're heading over to the 13th. Let's just stop for a moment and enjoy the view of the river. Nice little view here. We can see Mitterand just peeking out there. And the other thing I wanted to show you here was this lady. This is the piscine Josephine Baker. So this is a barge which was transformed into a swimming pool. So it has a removable roof, glass roof there, which slides open. It is open, opens at 7:30 in the morning, closes at 8, and then it opens again in the afternoon to the evening. And on Thursday nights it opens until 11 o'clock at night. It's high season at the moment. It costs you €6 to enter for 2 hours. So it's a timed entrance. We have 10 people online, my goodness. Hello to everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Bonjour, bonjour. So it's a very nice area. Lots and lots of riverside cafes and such. Bonjour Robin Noel. Welcome. So the bridge that we have over in this direction is the Pont de Bercy. So this was built during the urbanisation of housemen back in the late 1800s, mid-late 1800s. It was originally a suspension bridge. And then they, around 1860, they changed it into a stonework bridge. Bonjour Sally Davies, how are you today? And over here is the Pont de Tolbiac. Okay. So what I wanted to show you is the 13th here. I actually planned this walk for a couple of weeks ago when I cancelled on you at the last minute. The main reason I was heading in this direction is because my daughter's dentist is over here and we had a dentist appointment. So I was going to just make use of the fact that I was in this part of town. The other reasons one might like to come to this part of town is because of the cafe lifestyle, which is pretty cool, but it is a very urbanized area recently. And of course the main feature of it is this big structure here. Judy says, Jacqui, what is the name of the bridge you're on? This is the Passerelle Simone de Beauvoir. So Simone de Beauvoir was a writer, existentialist, feminist, famous for her partnership with Jean-Paul Sartre. Bonjour Jinli. Hi, how are you? It's another cold evening in southeast Melbourne. Well, what we have here is we've had temperatures increasing very gradually over the last week or so. It was a bit chilly for a while, but of course the rise in temperature here is also comes with thunderstorms, which we have anticipated for today. So yeah, not really keen on that. It's supposed to be a very wet weekend, but it's still quite warm. Let's have a look at the river. Okay, so you can see a metro going across the Pont de Bercy there. That's Metro Line 6. Okay, so Metro Line 6, I took you for a tour on it down the other end. So Metro Line 6 goes from Nation. It goes through this area here from the 12th and the 13th, goes through the 13th, is above ground for a little bit, goes underground, comes back up again in the 15th and 7th. And that was my lovely view of, my favourite view of Tour Eiffel when it goes through the 7th and goes over the Seine there. Okay. And Judy says, "What is that? The Mitterand Library on the right?" Okay, so yes, the Bibliotheque Nationale de France. The original structure is on Rue de Richelieu, which is in the middle of Paris by the Palais Royal, and that was instituted in the 1400s, so it's super old. And of course modernization takes over, and around the 80s, the 1980s, under François Mitterand president, a lot of modernized works came to fruition, including La Défense. So you'll probably feel this has much of a same feel as La Défense. Anyway, part of those was creating this larger building to house the National Library collection, and this was the culmination of it. So this is actually the largest aspect, because there are 4 sites of the National Library, and this is the new one. So this was completed in 1996. And it's pretty big, huh? So you've got 4 main buildings here, and because they're so big I can't even get them in the frame, but of course they're all shaped like open books standing up on end. So got 4 of them, and they are named Le Tour de Temps, Le Tour de Lec, Le Tour de Chiffre, Le Tour de Loire. I think I got that right. You've got this lovely like esplanade steps along here. Kind of reminds you of going up to the Arc de la Défense. Bonjour Margaret. It's another damp day in Napier, New Zealand, huh? Yeah, it happens. Okay. So anyway, it's not a part of town I particularly enjoy, because it doesn't have the same history that I like to show off and appreciate. There are other parts of the 13th, so now we're in the 13th. There are other parts of the 13th that I'm also going to show you probably next week, which are a little bit more my taste. But in the meantime, let's show you this place. Okay, so to get into the Bibliotheque François Mitterand, you don't need to have a library card. It costs you €15 for the year. And that gives you access to all of the collections, the reading room, and the art exhibitions, because they often hold exhibitions here. And the part that you would actually be going to as a person in visiting the library is actually underground here, under where we're walking. But I'll just take you to the middle. So we're right in the middle now of these 4 big buildings. Like I said, they're so big we can't even get them on the screen. Okay, so in the middle here, we've got this big garden. and it's not very easy to see it because you've got all these safety devices in the way. Okay, but it's down there. So €15 to become a member for the year, or if you wish to just come in and read and not issue, you have free access from 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock in the evenings. Children cannot be members, but they can come in accompanied by an adult. So voila. Now back in the day I used to come here quite a bit because you see big MKD there, NK2, that's a movie theatre complex. So there's lots of cafes and restaurants and movie theatres in there, and I used to come here quite a bit. So Bibliotheque Mitterand has its own metro station, which is line 14 and RERC. And a lot of these buildings around here, these apartment blocks here, are all brand spanking new. A lot of them have only gone up in the last 10 years or so. So it's a really, really new area. And it's quite vast, so there's not a lot to show you, but I'll be walking quite a bit. A lot of this is office space, and people who curate the National Library collection. There are also a lot of empty spaces because for a while they found it quite a bit of useless space. I mean, they're huge, vast buildings, but they didn't find them that useful. Anyway, so as you can see here, you've got a lot of reading space outside. People come and relax and read a book or just chill out. And you've got the entrance part there. I hope I can get through here because, like I said, it's really vast and I'm not really sure how accessible it is on this side. Hopefully we won't be double backing at any point. Kim says, love how the buildings are shaped like books. Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? The other name they had for this was, oh, here we go, look at this. Can you see the garden space here? It didn't turn out as well as they'd hoped. A lot of these plants that they put here are exotic species that really didn't survive. So you might see a few dead looking plants there. They had great intentions, but it didn't quite work out. Yeah, so book shaped, which seems pretty apt. Look at these apartments over here. Are those trees or sculptures? There are a bit of both, actually. Margaret asked if these are trees or sculptures. There are sculptures down there, but you cannot see obviously because it's quite a dense canopy of plants down there. But yeah. So let's go this way. I think we're okay getting out here. Should be able to. So people who were wanting to find an apartment back in the last decade or so would have been able to find something really nice here, and of course going with that is quite a modern lifestyle here. Okay. Oh wait, here we go. Okay. So there's still a lot of construction going on and everything as well. What do you think of these modern buildings? Who likes this type of Paris? There's a bookshop in here as well. Used to be a Virgin Music Store, but of course Virgin Music Store doesn't exist anymore. Let's see if we can get down here. GDC is modern lifestyle, but not too much soul in my view. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. This is why this area, while it has its uses, such as my daughter's dentist is here, I don't find it that aesthetically stimulating. Now, where are we going? There's one little minute thing I wanted to show you here. It's a little bit strange, and I'll be going out of my way to show you it for very little reason, I think. I'm going to the banister here. These steps are a little bit steep, you see, and they go all the way around the edge here. Robin says it looks like Melbourne Docklands. Haven't been to Melbourne, but I'm sure, yes, it would be quite similar, very modern. There's a lady who's taking her pram up these steps. There's a lot easier ways of doing it, the poor thing. Okay, oh, looks like it's a market going down here, crossing this road. All of the streets around here are named for famous writers. There's a park here, and there's a market going on. So yeah, tiny little market, nice little park. Again, lots of green spaces. So for people, like, especially if you have a family, perhaps, you know, the practicality of having a nice new apartment here is probably the draw card. Beautiful little park there. Okay, I don't know if you can see what I can see. Jen Lee says you won't need to go to Docklands now. Margaret says I will be watching Midnight in Paris on Saturday night to counter this view of Paris. Sure, why not? Okay, well, this is going to really annoy you. This is greening out. This is going to annoy you, Judy. Look at this. Can you see what I'm saying? Now, this is a Wallace fountain which has been painted shocking pink. What do you think of that? It's not actually going. Oh, Midnight in Paris is on TV. Well, you've got the DVD. I bought you the DVD. Yes, it's a painted Wallace. Now, most Wallace fountains are green. But I have seen a couple of blue ones in very random spots, and that's the only one I've seen any other colour. So shocking pink is pretty shocking, right? Painted Wallace, yes. So yeah, I think Judy might be a bit disappointed with our walk today, right? So we're going up to a main shopping street here. Margaret says, love that colour, but not on the fountain. Well, the fountains were designed with that green colour so that they blended in and weren't conspicuous. They remained classic. But I guess because this is very modern, then I suppose it kind of fits into the aesthetic. Okay, well, this is one street that is not named after a writer. This one's named after a cellist. Et voila. Okay, it's this way. So this area is called Tolbiac. Tolbiac. I mean, if you can imagine, this area was pretty much uninhabited. It's not really part of metropolitan Paris. Well, it wasn't back in the day anyway. So a lot of these areas were given brand new names, but harking back to historic France. So Tolbiac was named after the Battle of Tolbiac, which was fought by the King Clovis back in the 400s. So we're talking 1500 years ago. Judy says, not disappointed. It's important to see all beyond the cliche. I appreciate that. I'm pleased. Okay. So very, 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 very modern. This is bus stop Emile Durkheim. We all love Emile Durkheim. He's buried near me at the Cimetière Montparnasse. And he's a special guy because I did, as my mummy knows, we both did our degree in sociology, and Emile Durkheim was one of the founding fathers of sociology, so he holds a special place in our hearts. And there's a street here named after him. So busy spot. Alright, let's try and get ourselves over to a bit more classical side of Paris. Cross over the street here. Now I really like this gate that's coming up here. See if I'm going to get run over. I can jaywalk a little bit. Okay, here we go. So again, it's very modern, but I really like it. It has, it's like Art Nouveau style. Isn't it pretty? It's huge. Enormous. And of course that's going into a beautiful garden, which is in an apartment complex. You would hate for me to get run over, Judy. I would hate for me to get run over too. I often have nightmares about doing my walks and getting run over, and of course you're watching the aftermath, which would be quite scary, wouldn't it? Especially if my mother was watching. So yeah, so we've got lots of little cafe areas here. So the other, so this was, I guess, industrial zone for a long time. So across the river where we were is Bercy, and Bercy has its own train station, which is actually right next to Gare de Lyon, which of course is one of the main train stations of Paris. And just down to our right is the Gare d'Austerlitz, which is also a main railway station. So it's a very much concentration of railway. This is a what do they call it? Of course my mind's going blank now, but basically railway land. So we're actually walking on top of a raised promenade, which is the Promenade Claude Levi-Strauss, and down below us are shops but also railway lines, and down here we get to Old Paris again, which is the Rue de la Chevalerie. Okay, so see how we go to the street down below us. But let's just stick here for now, because there's one last thing I want to show you. Railway hub. Thank you, Judy. And Terry says, geez, be careful. Absolutely, Terry. Lots of nice plantings going on here. It's a very lovely area. But as you say, no soul. So, like I said, my daughter's dentist is just over here, so that's why I have come to frequent this area relatively regularly. But I must say, I haven't been into the Bibliotheque François Mitterand, even though I've been coming past it and going there for probably 12 years now. Terry says, in about 2005 I was tempted to find an apartment in the area, but it was soulless. It seems a bit more lively now. Yeah, it was really awful. I can remember when 12 years ago when I used to come here a lot, it was literally the Bibliotheque, which is there, one of the towers, and of course all of this area was just construction zone. It was pretty ugly. But yeah, it's a bit better now. But honestly, Terry, where you are is so much nicer. I would trade your apartment for any of these in a heartbeat. See all these roses? It smells amazing. Oh look, it's a leucadendron, is that correct? My mother will know. Yeah, so lots of great plantings going on here. Okay, the final thing I wanted to show you is this structure here. Now, back onto the subject of railway stations and railway depots. This was a very significant railway depot back in the day. It was built in the 1920s by a man named Eugène Freycinet. I think I got that correct. Let's see how we can get a good view of it. So you can see it's a huge structure, okay, and it was yeah, like it was a railway depot, so basically the exchange of goods between one railway station and another one. And now it's in a very important place. It is it was going to be demolished, and somebody says you can't demolish it, it is a national monument, so they applied to have it preserved, and it was later bought up. And it is now the largest startup campus in the world. It's 35,000 square meters of space. It's huge. We can walk around it, but honestly it's pretty, well, boring's not a very good word, but it's vast and you don't see a lot for a long time. Maybe we'll just go down a bit. But it's also quite private, so you can get into some parts of it, but it's in the main it's security access, so you can't get in as such. But if you can imagine, a third of this is restaurant space and work, yeah, restaurant space pretty much, and then 2/3 is office space. So you got a lot of startup businesses who are here. Bottle brush over there, lots of jasmine, lots of ivy, again lots of plantings. The coolest part is the restaurant space. Yes, Judy says it's Station F. That's exactly what it's called. So the F obviously is named after the engineer who designed it, Monsieur Freycinet. Okay, so this end, which is hidden behind all these trees, actually has in it the most amazing restaurant workspace. It's very, very busy in there, and I don't feel good about going in and taking a video, but I did take some sneaky photos, so I will post those sneaky photos later. You can get a view through the door. Perhaps it's quite vast, can't really see a lot from here. It's massive, 35,000 square meters. So yeah, it's the largest startup campus in the world. So if you want to come to Paris and do a startup, you can find space here to do that. Find yourself a nice flashy cheap apartment. Like I said, we've got all the Paris up here as well, so. And if we were to head down that direction there, we get to the Hôpital Salpêtrière, which is one of the old hospitals of Paris. Kim says it's massive, yes, and Sally says, can you go and eat there? Yes, I believe I can. Seems to be a lot of people like doing workplace meetings, so yeah, I feel a bit weird going in there, but I'm sure I could. Yeah, but yeah, so anyway, that's where we are now. And let me just go over here. I don't know what the sign is, so I'm going to go over and have a look at the sign here. Whenever you're in Paris, you always need to look up with the signs on buildings, because some things are a little bit, I don't know what's going on there, but others you can say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. So flip the camera around again, you have a quick look and see what I'm looking at here. So this looks relatively old, kind of, but not really. So there's a couple of statues here, and there's a plaque. So I haven't researched this or anything, so I have no idea what it is. Who lived here from 1887 to 1883, I think that says. Can anyone read it? Cyprian, la 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 la. I have to go take a closer look without getting run over. So if anyone's really quick, they can go research this for me. He's a Polish poet. Cyprian Kamil Norwid. Polish poet. There you go. Anyway. Right, I think I might leave it at that because this very soulless area of Paris is hasn't really inspired my usual repartee. So thank you for joining me today. We will take you somewhere a little more scenic next time, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope everyone's doing well in your various parts of the world. Take care, everybody, and try and stay warm and dry if you're in that part of the world that needs to be warm and dry in, and I will try and stay cool and dry. So thank you all. We will see you next Friday. Take care, everybody. Thanks, Judy. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Robin. Thanks, Terry. Oh, I'm going to forget people. I want to say hi to everybody who's joined me, though. So, yeah, Jen Lee, Sally Davies, Glenda May, Kim, Margaret, Bees Through Le Monde. We'll see you next time. Bye.